94%. That is the portion of life on Earth that lives in the ocean. Not a third, not half. 94% of all living space on this planet is underwater, and we have explored less than 20% of it. Let that sink in for a second. We have mapped the craters of the moon in finer detail than we have mapped our own ocean floor. We have higher resolution images of the surface of Mars than of the ridges and valleys sitting 3 miles beneath the Atlantic. The deep sea covers more than half the surface of this planet, and to us, it is almost entirely invisible. Every time we build something capable of reaching the bottom, every time we push past the point where sunlight disappears and pressure becomes almost incomprehensible, we find something that doesn't fit, something that breaks the rules, something we had no framework to predict. New species, new geological forces, new ecosystems that have no business existing. So if we've found all of that in 20%, what is waiting in the rest? Today, we go find out. Let's start somewhere that sounds like the end of the world. Antarctica. In 2023, an iceberg the size of a small country broke free from the continent's edge, one of the largest ever recorded. And when it finally drifted away, it exposed something extraordinary beneath it. A seafloor ecosystem that had been sealed in complete darkness for thousands of years. Scientists raced to study it before sunlight could change it forever. And what they found stopped them cold. Life, abundant, thriving, alien-looking life. Creatures that had evolved in total isolation. Pale, delicate, and perfectly adapted to a world without a single photon of light. Among them, the phantom jellyfish. A translucent giant with ribbon-like arms stretching over 10 meters long, drifting through the dark like something out of a dream. These weren't struggling survivors in a hostile environment. They were flourishing. It forces a question that scientists are still grappling with. How many other sealed, lightless ecosystems exist beneath polar ice that we simply haven't found yet? The answer, almost certainly, is many. Now here's where things get genuinely strange. The ocean makes sounds, constantly. Most of them we understand. Whale calls, tectonic groans, the rumble of submarine volcanoes. But some of them, even today, have no clean explanation. In 1997, underwater microphones scattered across the Pacific Ocean picked up something unusual. A sound so powerful it was detected by sensors nearly 5,000 kilometers apart. Scientists called it the bloop. It was louder than any known biological sound on Earth. For years, it fed speculation, sea monsters, unknown leviathans lurking in the trenches. The more grounded explanation? A massive cracking of Antarctic ice, an ice quake, amplified and distorted by the strange acoustics of deep water. But even that answer doesn't fully satisfy every researcher who's studied the original recording. Then there's the bioduck, a repetitive, mechanical quacking sound detected throughout the Southern Ocean for decades. Scientists only identified its source in 2014. The culprit? The Antarctic minke whale. He producing a call so bizarre, it fooled researchers into thinking it might be mechanical in origin. And beneath all of it, underneath every ocean sound, there is something called the Earth hum. A faint continuous vibration resonating through the planet itself at frequencies too low for the human ear to detect. Its origin is still debated. Some believe it's generated by ocean waves crashing against continental shelves. Others aren't so sure. The deep ocean doesn't just hold mysteries, it whispers them. We tend to think of the ocean floor as static, still, unchanging. It is none of those things. Beneath the surface of our seas, geological forces are constantly at work, and some of them are among the most powerful events on Earth. submarine avalanches, or turbidity currents, are underwater landslides capable of racing down the continental shelf at hundreds of kilometers per hour, carrying enough sediment to bury entire mountain ranges. They've snapped submarine communication cables, stretching thousands of kilometers. They've reshaped coastlines in hours. And then there is the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth. Nearly 11 kilometers straight down, deep enough to stack Mount Everest inside it and still have room above the summit. The pressure at its floor is over 1,000 times what you feel standing at sea level. And yet life is there. Snailfish, amphipods, microbial mats. A full, functioning ecosystem at the bottom of the world where the darkness is absolute and the cold is unrelenting. We have visited the moon more times than we have visited the deepest point of our own planet. Here's something that will rearrange the way you picture our planet. There is an ocean inside the Earth. Not metaphorically, not as a thin seam of moisture. A reservoir, scientists estimate it holds roughly 3 times the volume of all water on the planet's surface. Trapped inside a mineral called ringwoodite, buried nearly 700 kilometers beneath our feet. Discovered through the analysis of a rare diamond brought up from deep within the mantle, this subterranean reservoir changes everything we thought we knew about the water cycle on Earth. It suggests that our oceans didn't just fall here on comets. They may have, at least in part, seeped up from within. And that's not the only hidden water story. While beneath the Cascade Mountain Range in Oregon, scientists have identified a vast freshwater aquifer sitting beneath the seafloor off the coast, a body of cold, ancient water sealed beneath layers of sediment and rock, undisturbed for potentially millions of years. Fresh water, under the ocean floor. Our planet hides water in places we never thought to look, and the deeper we search, the more we find. The ocean is also the world's greatest archivist. Everything we've ever lost to the sea, it remembers. Off the coast of Croatia, divers discovered something that should not exist where it was found. A stone road, perfectly arranged, deliberately laid, stretching beneath the Adriatic Sea. Carbon dating placed its origin at roughly 7,000 years ago, meaning it was built by people who walked on land that is now completely submerged. 7,000 years ago, the sea level was lower. People lived, worked, and built on coastlines that the rising ocean slowly swallowed. This road is what's left. It is not unique. Underwater settlements and structures have been found across the Mediterranean, off the coast of India, and in the waters around Japan. Silent proof that human civilization once occupied land, now buried beneath the sea. Then there is the Titanic. When it was discovered in 1985, it was remarkably intact, an eerie ghost of the ship it once was. But time is finishing what the iceberg started. Microbes have been steadily consuming the iron hull for over a century. Sections are collapsing. Scientists estimate the famous bow could be unrecognizable within the next few decades. The ocean giveth, and the ocean taketh away. And for those drawn to something more tangible than history. In 2015, explorers located the wreck of a pirate vessel off the coast of Madagascar, believed to carry treasure valued at over $138 million. The find reignited debates about who owns history when it sits on the seafloor. The answer, like so much of the ocean, remains unresolved. Now here is something that sounds like science fiction, but is entirely, verifiably real. Running through the waters of Southeast Asia, between the islands of Bali and Lombok, between Borneo and Sulawesi, there is an invisible line in the sea. No wall, no fence, no physical boundary of any kind. And yet, on one side of it, you find Asian wildlife, tigers, rhinoceros, orangutans. On the other side, you find creatures more akin to those of Australia. Marsupials, birds of paradise, exotic lizards. Cross that invisible line in the ocean, and the entire biological world changes. This is the Wallace Line, named after the naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace, who observed it in the 1850s. It exists because these islands were never connected by land bridges, even during ice ages when sea levels dropped dramatically. The deep ocean channels between them acted as an impassable barrier, separating evolutionary lineages for millions of years. It is a border drawn not by nations, but by the geography of ancient seas. The ocean doesn't just divide continents, it shapes the entire story of life on Earth. We have skimmed the surface of something vast, ancient ecosystems sealed under miles of Antarctic ice. Sounds without certain sources drifting through the abyss. Underwater avalanches reshaping the seafloor in minutes. An ocean trapped inside the very rock beneath our feet. Roads built by people whose world now lies submerged. A biological border drawn by the depth of the sea itself. And remember, we have explored less than 20% of it. 80% of our ocean remains largely unseen, unmapped, unheard. Which means the discoveries we've talked about today, extraordinary as they are, may be just the beginning. The deep ocean still holds answers to questions we haven't thought to ask yet. It holds organisms we have no names for, geological events we have no framework for, history we didn't know existed. The greatest frontier on Earth isn't above us, it's below us. And we've barely opened the door.